Hey there everybody, you asked for it, so I'm doing an updated video, this time with audio. The only reason why I didn't last time was I just ran out of time. So what you can see here is we have two versions of the plugin. We have a portable version and we have an installer. Portable version, if you have any problems running the installer or you just want to put it wherever you want, you can just drag and drop this into any folder and it'll work. The installer is pretty simple, straightforward. Just run it. Next, if you want a desktop icon, I definitely recommend using one because that's how you run the plugin. Then just hit install, go install it. You get a handy little icon. Run the icon, and you'll get, each time you're going to get a new feature window whenever we update something, add some new features. You can just close that. Then here's where you need your license key. I'll have more information about getting your license key in the documentation that I'm actually working on now. Plus, you'll get, if you're a new member, you'll get the license key whenever you sign up for the membership. It'll come with your purchase email. If you're a legacy member, you can get it off the website. Just put your email address in and you'll get it on the screen. So, let's see. All right. So once you have your license in, it's going to go into the license key. It'll say valid once you type it in. If you need to read the license agreement, it's all right here. And then hit install. Default ZBrush path will always be filled out. If it's different for you, it should find it. If it doesn't, you can always browse for it. Then you install. So this is the plugin, and the interface is actually about to change slightly soon. We're working on that right now to support themes. We're going to do color schemes, basically choose pre-selected color schemes. So once you install, if you had ZBrush running, restart it. And once you install, you also can download all the brushes out of the membership. There's archives that I'll keep up to date every time. They are usually, should be at the bottom of the list. Just extract all the archives. I put them into folders like this. You can do whatever you want. Some people said they had trouble if they weren't in folders, but I believe that they were installing them into your ZBrush startup folder, which do not do that, because ZBrush has a cap of 300 brushes, and once you exceed that, the plugin will not be able to load anymore into ZBrush. So do not put them into your startup folder. That's where you go into your settings here. If you saw the last video, we have a new settings menu here, which is actually going to update again soon. So here you have your general tab. If you're used to the old way of single clicking to select a brush in ZBrush, you can turn that back on. Right now you have to double click, and we did that to allow for you to edit brushes and add information to them without actually selecting them in ZBrush. But if you have any issues with double clicking in with a tablet, then you can always turn this single select on. Showing tooltips, you can turn that on and off. You can change your ZBrush path if you need to. So here is where you have your brush locations and alpha locations. You want to add location. So go to where you have the brushes installed. Sorry. Alright. Shouldn't take too long to load them all. It's actually fairly quick. So this is loading, I don't know, like 800 or so brushes. Alright, so once you load them, you'll see them all in here. Maximize, you can see them all. And then, if you have the latest brushes, then all these drop downs will work. If you have the old brushes before, say, February 20th, I think, of this year, you'll need to get the new ones for the plugin to work, because a lot of them are renamed and organized better. I didn't really have much of an organization way before when I was doing them. I just kind of made them. So once you have them all installed, you can also, now we have support for alpha. So if you have them in the same folder structure, it's fine. And once you load them, it might take a few for them to load. Alright, it takes a little while for the alphas to load. We'll probably add a load screen for that eventually. Once you load them, you can see them all in here. They'll continue to load. Some of them take a little while because they're fairly big. We've got lots of 2048s, a couple of 4096s. So what you want to do is basically, we didn't set up anything by default because everybody's going to use this differently. I've had a few complaints where people said they wanted everything already set up, which we may add a feature soon. It's going to take me a while to set them all up myself, but we could add a feature where you have like either a blank version that you can start with or fully filled out. We just got to figure out how to incorporate that with people that have already set everything up if they want to add new stuff. So basically, let's click on a brush. So you can add a description in here. You can add pretty much whatever you want. Say you're using this mech insert to create a mech. You want to say that this mech insert brush is fantastic for adding bolts onto mechs. Something like that. So you want to create your own category. Let's see, mech robot. Let's see, mech. Let's do mech and tech. So, and you've also got the ability now to add multiple categories for one brush. So you can also tag. Let's see, tag with bolts. Whenever you tag, tags show up down at the bottom. Then you can filter by the tags. They're just quick little, it's another way of organizing. So once you add a few tags, I spell it? Yeah. Alright, then you'll choose your type. This one is an insert. So just click insert. And if there's a credit on the brush, it'll show up down here. Apparently I didn't put one on this one. So once you do that, then it'll save everything. You've also got your new categories in here. And if you want to filter by insert, now you can filter by type. These are what I did not set up already, which I may end up doing that eventually. But if you want to turn back off your toggle, just click it again. You can turn on multiple ones. You can also do a search in here. So search for all the mech, search for my zombie brushes. These were done recently with Jonathan Nascombe. I believe I said that right. Yeah, and you can either delete or clear your search. So we've also, what else do we have? I have all, yeah, like I was saying, you can search through all of my sets. I'll keep these up to date with each release. You can And then once you have, you can hold down Control and select multiple brushes and add new tags. Let's see, add new tag, and those will all show up in there. You can do types all at one time, so this is really quick if you want to do a bunch at once. Choose different one. So basically that is the main part of brushes. We've also got a advanced edit screen where you can see a bigger version. There'll be more information in here later. You'll be able to edit brushes later too. The actual brush itself. That's a feature that's coming soon. You can set it as a favorite in here. That's another thing. Once you have your filters set up, your categories, everything you want, you have this little menu over here. This menu is the favorites little area. So if you use a brush a lot, you can set up a favorite set, and let's say you have multiple projects you're working on. There's a little button down here to add new favorite set. And then let's say we're working on a medieval scene project. Choose a color for your tab. There's default colors. You can also do an advanced color. Go in here, select color, change whatever you want. I like to knock down the alpha a little bit. So once you do that, it creates a new tab. You can click on that tab. That'd be an empty tab at this point. I guess I don't have the medieval brushes, but let's say we're going to favorite. Whatever tab you're on is which one it favorites. So you just go through and add each of those. And you can delete your favorite set with the little delete icon here. So we'll also, in your alpha, it'll show you the dimensions of your alpha. You've got toggles where you can flip your alpha. I'll show you these whenever we open up ZBrush. Toggle which bits, what pixel size. So if you possibly want to get rid of your 128 alphas or whatever, you can do that pretty easily. We've also, before I jump into ZBrush, I'll show you the update screen. So this update screen, this is how you get your updates. It also, I don't know if you're aware, but there's an auto update feature in the toolbox where you just open it and close it and it'll update itself. You really don't have a choice of updating. Anytime there's a new brush set, I will mention it in here. You can click this, it'll open Gumroad, and then you can go in and download it from your library. We don't have an auto download feature at this time because we have to have a server set up and everything, and right now Gumroad's the only option, which it works for what it is. We also have toolbox updates in here. You can go in here and see what's new, and all the brush updates will be in here. There's the new gem set, medieval set, terrain. So each one of those, your version number will be shown in here if you ever need to know what version you're running. Alright, I just want to quickly show you how the plugin works. If you're in expanded mode, you can just collapse it here. We don't really have docking to ZBrush at the moment, but you can just stack it next to it, or you can maximize this on the full screen. We are working on doing a fully minimized version that just has tiny icons, possibly just word list. You can stack next to it to maximize screen space if you want to have it next to ZBrush. But yeah, so let's dive right in, and we will just double click, or if you have it set single click, whichever you prefer. And then you're just off in sculpting in no time. We've got it's definitely not going to be a masterpiece of any kind. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to switch your alpha, you can do so by going over to the alpha tab, double clicking. Let's see, grabbing this, switch out your alphas. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There is a reset button. If you notice, you'll get all the brushes loaded into ZBrush. If you run out of space, ZBrush only allows 300 brushes, so run out of space, hit that button, it resets all your loaded brushes. You also have this button, keep on top, so no matter what, it'll stay on top of whatever windows you have open. You have help right here, which goes to the online documentation, which I'm working right now to update. So in settings, if you create a tag that you want to delete, you can come in here and delete your tags now. It does not give a warning if you are using that tag, so you can also rename your categories. You can't rename the default one, but you can rename them to whatever you want. And you also have, if you have any issues with scanning, like if you change something outside of ZBrush and you want to rescan your brush locations, you can. If you delete some, rescan them, it'll correct everything. You can save your database, which saves all the information that you change inside of the toolbox. If you do a bunch of stuff, you might want to say this is beta. Don't forget that. We won't clear out your database unless we really have to, but you can always reload it here. So I recommend saving often. Don't forget, this is beta. We're getting close to ending beta, but we still have a few more features that we want to add for you before we get into the release candidate. So, oh, and while you're in here, you can also take, there's a good example. So we added all the buttons for rotation, flipping, and brush alpha, and you can turn alpha off of the brush. This is kind of buggy in ZBrush to begin with. This will attempt to grab the original alpha that was on the brush, but even in ZBrush it's buggy. It doesn't always work. So it does the exact same thing that ZBrush does. All it does is push the button inside of ZBrush. Yeah, and I think that's about it. Alright, if you want to join the XMD membership, just head right on over to Gumroad and grab the lifetime membership. With the membership, you get, it's about probably 950 plus brushes to start with. Constantly adding new stuff. Plugin is still in beta at the moment, but it'll probably be out of beta, I don't know, in the next month or so. We'll have the release candidate. You also get access to the Facebook private group, and that will, you can give feedback, you can get feedback, you can chat with other artists. There's lots of people in the group. You also get entered in automatically into my raffles that I have occasionally for custom brush sets. You can request brush sets. I've had plenty of those. That's actually where most of the ideas come from members. You get all my tutorials and pretty much everything that I put on Gumroad I include in my lifetime for absolutely free for all the members once you pay the one-time fee, and that's it. So come on over and join up. I'll put the link in the description and just come on and check it out. Alright.